Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Mahe Ramadh'an Reflections Part 7. A selected translation of Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi's commentary on Dua al-Iftitah. The subsistence of blessings is in God's hands. The blessing of guidance, knowledge of God, and the infallible Imam is from God, and their preservation is also in His hands. God must continually help so that these blessings continue. The reason why we repeat, "Guide us on the straight path," in our prayers every day is to request the continuity and subsistence of the blessing of guidance. Otherwise, inshallah, we have recognized the straight path and are taking steps on this path. However, if God does not will it, there is no guarantee that this will continue. Thus, it is not enough to merely know the right path. Rather, this recognition must always continue, and if God does not help, this recognition will disappear. Therefore, we must always ask God to guide us on the straight path and help us stay on that path. There were many people who were on the right path. However, they were sinful. First one sin, then two, then three, and gradually they became used to sinning and deviated from the right path. It is only He who protects a person and draws him away from sins. Sometimes it even so happens that a person decides to commit a sin, makes efforts to commit it. The preliminary steps of that act are also prepared, but God, in His grace and love for His servant, prevents him from committing that sin. All these instances are God's grace and are from among His blessings. If a person is grateful for these blessings, God will sustain them. Otherwise, He will leave him to himself. Therefore, if the grounds were conducive for sinning and we did not commit them, we must not think God is beholden to us. Rather, we must be thankful to His favor that prevented us from committing a sin. Thus, it is necessary while praying for us to be mindful of whom we are facing, one who has drowned us in His blessings at every moment, including both material and spiritual blessings. He has bestowed us with thousands of success in utilizing blessings on the right path, and if we cannot, then at least we do not sin. However, a human being is ungrateful and ignores all of these blessings. If a friend comes to our aid during a difficulty, we will remember and thank him as long as we are alive, whereas the lifting of this very difficulty also, in reality, took place through God's planning, and that friend was only a means to that end. However, we do not remember the countless blessings that God has bestowed upon us, and we do not even thank Him, at least verbally. The necessity of reflecting upon God's blessings. Considering the countless blessings that God has gifted human beings, is it not right for us to reflect on His blessings for a few moments every day? We have nothing to offer God in return for all these blessings, but we can at least recognize them and acknowledge that God has given them to us. Thus, this part of the supplication mentions some of these blessings. فَكَمْ يَا إِلَهِي مِنْ كُرْبَةٍ قَدْ فَرَّجْتَهَا. You, O my God, have relieved so many of my grievances. وَهُمُومٍ قَدْ كَشَفْتَهَا وَعَثْرَةٍ قَدْ أَقَلْتَهَا. Dispelled so many of my sorrows, overlooked so many of my slips. وَرَحْمَةٍ قَدْ نَشَرْتَهَا وَحَلْقَةِ بَلَاءٍ قَدْ فَكَكْتَهَا. Spread over me many of your mercies and unlocked so many rings of misfortunes in which I was detained. When a person reflects upon these sentences to a certain extent and thinks about the difficulties and calamities that befell him and God saved him from them, his state of supplicating and receiving these lines will be more favorable. When a person considers all blessings from God, his heart inclines toward Him and he becomes eager to get close to Him. However, a person who does not consider his blessings to be from God and pays no attention to this reality and even knows God as a being who prevents him from achieving happiness and pleasure and will take him to hell, how can such a person talk to God? How can he get close to Him? Whereas he is not mindful of what blessings God has bestowed upon him for his heart to hold love for God.